Alright, you guys, now I'm here to talk about the final Death Race movie that I'll be reviewing anyway. Death Race 3 Inferno. I know, who would have thought back in 2008 when that Jason Statham movie was gonna hit theaters and it would spawn three movies. Two direct to video sequels, because yes, Death Race 3 Inferno is another direct to video uh, Death Race movie. And I was going to say sequel, but it's not really a sequel. It's another prequel. Now you're probably asking yourselves, another fucking prequel? Are you fucking kidding me? Really? Just hear me out on this review. Alright, so before I get into it, let me just say, if you're going to marathon these movies, have a triple feature. By all means, go for it, because it's a lot of fun, and I highly recommend watching all three of these movies back to back. But here's the order that I would watch them, because chronologically, this is the order. Chronologically, you have Death Race 2, Death Race 3, Inferno, and then you have Death Race with Jason Statham. So, yes, this one is a sequel to Death Race 2, but another prequel to Death Race 1. So it happens in between 2 and 1. Let's talk about this movie, the cast, the plot. The plot! Let's talk about the plot, because why the fuck not? Don't you want to know what the movie's about before we talk about the cast? The plot in this movie is we have Carl Lucas, aka Frankenstein at this point, because he has become Frankenstein, and only a couple people know about it. Frankenstein and his team, and 14K and his team. Yes, Robin Shou is back as 14K yet again, 3 times in a row. And they're being transferred to the maximum security prison in Kalahari, South Africa. So, and let me just say, when I first saw the trailer for this movie, and I found out that they were getting put in Africa in the middle of the desert, I'm like, that's fucking stupid. Death Race's home is Terminal Island. That was my initial thought. But yeah, they take him to South Africa, and this new guy has bought Wayland's company for one reason only, to franchise Death Race. So, he wants to make Death Race a huge hit again, because the ratings have kind of gone down a little bit, but not really that big of a deal. So he wants to buy him, make him a franchise again, yada yada yada. What I think of Death Race 3 is, I like it. I do. I have fun with it. But I will say, it's the weakest one of the three. Of the three newest ones, it is the weakest one, but I still have a lot of fun with it, and it's still going to get a pretty decent rating from me. So, let's talk about the cast. The cast. Luke Goss is back as Carl Lucas, aka Frankenstein. Danny Trejo is back as Goldberg. Fred Kohler is back as Liz. Tane Phoenix is back as Katrina. Ving Rhames is back as Wayland. So, yeah. Let's talk about this movie. The setting. I'm going to start off with the setting of South Africa. Like I said, I hated it when I first heard it. I hated it when I saw it in the trailer. Watching this movie, though, it makes sense. They want to be different. But then you have to ask yourselves, wait a minute. Death Race 3 is another prequel, and it happens before the first Death Race. And in Death Race 1, they're on Terminal Island. Well, how does this setting thing kind of, how does it work? Trust me, I will say, they find a way to make it work, I think, pretty nicely by the end of this movie. By the time this movie's over, we're going to be like, okay, them going to Africa made sense. But, yes. Well, it made about as much sense as a direct-to-DVD sequel to a prequel would do. But anyway, the cast, I've pretty much talked about most of them before. They're all great. I love them all. I'm glad, they're all back, especially Fred Kohler and Robin Shou, because they've done 1, 2, and 3 at this point. So, I really give them props for keep coming back. But yeah, I talked about Ving Rhames, Tane Phoenix, Danny Trejo, Luke Goss, talked about them. But there's this new guy. His name is Niles York. And I don't know this actor's name. I've seen him in a lot of shit. Most recently, Taken 3. But he is. I've seen him around a lot, but I can't remember the actor's name right now. But he's playing Niles York, who is the guy who just bought Wayland International. Basically, he just bought Death Race. And what I think of him as a villain, because, yes, these movies kind of have villains. The first one, Joan Allen was the villain, for sure. The second one, September Jones, which I'm forgetting that actress's name right now, but she was basically the villain with kind of Wayland in the background. This movie, Waylon's in the background again. He's not really a villain per se, but Niles York is the main villain. Now, what I think of Niles York as the villain is he plays a terrific villain. He really does. Especially in the Death Race franchise, in the Death Race world. It works, it fits, and I had no problem with him. In fact, I was going to say he may be the best of the villains. But there's Joan Allen. So, I don't know. They're all three of them are great villains. I think all three of them did a terrific job. But, yeah. Niles York definitely fit for this movie. And early on in the movie, I don't want to give too much away in case you haven't seen him. I kind of want you guys to see him for yourselves. So, but early on in the movie, the team finds out who Frankenstein is, and they're like, you motherfucker, you were alive this whole fucking time, because we all thought you were dead, but no, you're alive this whole fucking time. Wow. You're a fucking asshole kind of thing. But eventually they forgive him, they decide, alright, we're going to work as a team, we're getting the fuck out of here kind of thing. And the action, I will say, the action's still good, but it's not as, I would say it's not as fun, it's not as entertaining as it was in the first two. I think that's one thing that one of the flaws that this one had. But it's still an enjoyable film, I still like the film. I still like to watch all three of them. But the action was definitely better in 1 and 2. The setting I became okay with, because like I said, by the end it all makes sense. And I do give him props for going somewhere different, trying something different out with the Death Race franchise, so I do respect that. The acting, I have no problem with the acting in this movie. The acting's not Oscar worthy, but it's fine. Same as the first two. Let's see, what else can we talk about? Death Race 3, there's really not much I can say without kind of giving stuff away. No, this third movie in, Lists has been in all three of these movies. Why the fuck is he in prison to begin with? Nothing. I was expecting, okay, maybe we'll find out in one of the prequels. 2 prequels, no, still don't know why he's there. I mean, there's something towards the end of the movie where he's like, in prison things make sense. That's all I'm going to say, because if I say anything else, it'll spoil the ending. But, so I'm like, okay, I get it, but I just don't understand why he's there in the first place. I don't know. So yes, I do have a couple flaws with this movie. Small flaws, though. But you have to take this movie, like you can't expect this movie to be die-hard quality good, or, whatever good action movie, Predator, Commando, whatever kind of action movie that, your favorite action film, it's not going to be that good. It's not. I'm sorry, it's just not. You have to take this movie for what it is. It's a direct-to-DVD sequel to a prequel. Direct-to-DVD sequel to a prequel. That's what you have to take this movie as. And for that, it's a lot of fun, and for that, I'm going to give Death Race 3 Inferno a B+, A minus. A minus, I changed, B+, 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 B fucking plus is what this movie's getting. It's very late, I'm very tired. I'm doing all 3 of these reviews in one night. Why? Because I gotta. Like, I don't have to, because I fucking want to. I love you guys. I do. So, by the way, I'm not drunk. I'm just a little exhausted from the day. Alright, so Death Race 3 Inferno is getting an A-, and that's final. Yes. Death Race 3 Inferno gets an A-. What do you guys think of Death Race 3 Inferno? Have you guys seen it? Comment your thoughts down below. And before I go, I do want to say that there is a twist in this one. And the twist ending, I thought was fucking badass. I do. Yeah, sure, it felt a little like, whoa, there's a twist in these movies all of a sudden. Because the first two didn't have twists. I wasn't expecting there to be a twist. There's a twist, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. I'm not gonna lie. I did. So, did I see it coming? Well, it's kind of a long twist. So, yeah, there were bits and pieces that, I predicted. But there's a couple spots I didn't. So, it's a twist. I will say it did feel like it was kind of just thrown in there. But it was awesome. I enjoyed the hell out of it. So, What do you guys think of Death Race 3 Inferno? Comment your fucking thoughts down below. Like the fucking video, share, and fucking subscribe. Just do it!